And we missed our offense to start the third wasn't bad. We just missed shots. Cam had some open looks. He missed them, but they were taken off. And if DA's at the rim and we're flat, they're going to be in transition. And so when we put the other group in, we just made a really good effort to just stay in front of those guys as best we could. And that defense carried over into the fourth quarter, and we held them to 22 points. But I thought that group that came in, Save, Ish, and Jock, those guys did a decent job of just staying in front of the ball. And, of course, Mikal was still in that group, and Chris played a longer stretch. But Torrey, his energy tonight was huge for us. I thought he did a really good job on Siakam, who's a tough cover for everybody, especially when he's going right. So we were just not scrambling, but we were just trying to find a combination that could, play defense, get back in transition, and then fight to get a board. We had one mishap. I think Jock contested a shot and took off, and the ball came right where he was supposed to be, and we gave up a three. But other than that, I thought we did a much better job here, keeping them off the glass. And obviously we kept our turnovers down. I mean, we only had 12. Up there we had 27 for 34 points. So that was a huge plus for us tonight.
When you feel like maybe even in the last 2-3 minutes, maybe you would have to work.
No, I mean, it's a number of things. The execution, the trust that the guys have in Mikal and Chris to make plays. Obviously, Cam spreading the floor. Torrey just attacks the glass and comes up with possessions. And then DA, has a big time follow-up. But I think you're watching Mikal in those moments come through. And I think the guys are feeding him a lot of confidence, but he has his own confidence because he's putting the work in and he's not worried about the consequences of missing a shot. And Chris was really good about putting him in his spots, getting him going to his left hand, and he was coming off and doing his thing. And then when he didn't make the shot, we had guys there to offensive rebound.
I know you guys are used to seeing Chris play this way, but it seems like ever since he's come back from that injury and made sure he was 100%, it looks like he's been playing some of the best basketball of the season.
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to keep him as fresh as we can. We know that when Chris is fresh, he doesn't look like someone his age with as many miles as he has on his body. He just doesn't look that way. And so it's a combination of, keeping him fresh, but him getting his work in, and then in those moments, understanding how to play around him. They were switching like everything tonight. And, he took advantage of it. He threw it to DA some, but he's just a master at understanding the situation. And when he's fresh, he looks like a guy that can attack the basket and knock down threes. And it was a transition play tonight where it looked like it was going to be a layup, and he was at the rim. I forget who it was, but he just had the awareness to just slap his hand up and get a hand on the ball. There's like 3 or 4 players in the league that can make that play. But he's been in those situations so many times that it just amazes you when you see him make different plays that don't involve a pick and roll. You know what I mean? Most times when you think of great point guard, you just think of the pick and roll. He was making plays tonight outside of that. He's playing off of Mikal, and then that defensive play in transition.
When he was in San Antonio, the night when Mikal had to run through him late and just see it materialize the way it does, where Chris or Book will be in that spot, and again, we'll run the same thing. But Mikal being how do you see him owning that moment where we're going to run the same thing?
Mm-hmm. I think what we're seeing as a staff is we'll give him an environment to play in. And tonight we ran one play, and then he and Chris knew we couldn't run the same play. Then they went a different route, same kind of play, but just took a different route. And he came off and got another good opportunity for us. And so that's the maturation that you look for in guys down the stretch, where you're able to run the same play, but run the counter to try to get a good shot for your team. Whereas, most young guys come into the league, they wouldn't know not to run the same play the same way. And he understood that if he came off the same way, it wasn't going to work. So they figured it out on the fly, he and Chris, and we were able to get good opportunities.
I think shooting night for Cam, and he made a couple huge winning plays late on defense. How'd you like the way that he stepped up there?
Just Cam I think he's going to be like this for a while, where he shoots lights out, and then he's going to have nights like tonight. But the thing that I love about our guys is they can have tough shooting nights, but find different ways to affect the game. And we've seen that with a number of players. Torrey does it a lot, where he may not be knocking down the shot or get any attempts, and he finds a way to defend or get offensive rebounds for us. And, Cam found a way tonight to affect the game without, knocking down a bunch of shots.
What was going on there at the end where you called back-to-back timeouts?
Well, you can't advance it because we dribbled. And so once you dribble, you have a side declared, and two, I didn't want to chance it with 3 seconds against a long team like that. And because we had the lead, I just decided to call another timeout so we can advance the ball and keep it in the front court.
Monty, going into this season, could you have imagined having the ball in Mikal's hands multiple possessions in a row late in the season?
Well, it was the scuttlebutt was, I even heard it on my dock in Texas. You know what I'm saying? Like, you hear everybody saying, hey, Mikal and Cam need to do this and that. And we don't live in that world or allow that world to dictate what we do. But we also understood that for us to grow as a team, we had to create different ways to score, especially in moments like tonight. And, the thing that's impressive about what Mikal is doing, he's got pretty much the best defender on him down the stretch, and he's able to do some of this stuff. And so to answer your question, probably not, because we didn't know we were going to have all these guys out. But we're certainly grateful that we're seeing this type of growth from a guy that puts the work in every day and is willing to step up in those moments.
Seems like Ish is originally finding comfort in half-court sets, but do you see him evolving more in transition, scoring, and making plays and something shape?
We never even think of Ish in that way. We look at Ish as a guy that is physical. He defends. He's worked tirelessly on his shot. He had an impressive drive down the paint tonight. It was close to a shot clock situation. He does have the ability to get out in transition, but when we think of Ish, we just think of the physicality, the ability to stay in front of the ball. He'll put his hands on guys. He makes it tough on guys like Siakam and Barnes and different scores that they have. And then when he's in the corner, he's not afraid to take a shot. And tonight we saw him drive down the lane and get a nice bucket. So he's just a guy that again, if you asked us at the beginning of the season, would we, imagine ourselves relying on Ish in the meat of the game or in closing moments? Probably not, but he's worked his tail off to be ready for these moments.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
The elbow, which means if you ball at the elbow, that's how you do what you do. I see the look on your face. How you feel about? He said the coaches and players have dubbed that play. Is that you good with that or not?
No, it's called elbow, but I just CP usually the one, and when Book's here, they find me on it, and I just I go from there. So they make fun of me because they say I shoot it every time, so I turned it to McElbow. I feel like I'm open half of the time, so it's just a little funny joke they got going on.
All jokes aside, the way you played again tonight, coming off the overtime win, how good are you feeling right now?
Good, man. It's just we winning. Like, that's the biggest thing. I just tell everybody, like, all these stats in the loss is what, you know what I'm saying? I grew up, and the biggest thing is always on my mind is winning a game. So just trying to win, man. That's the biggest thing. And doing whatever it takes, just being aggressive. That's one of the things. And I'm just trying to keep going. Trying to do whatever it takes, honestly.
Chris was saying he didn't realize you had went off like that in the first quarter. You scored 23 points in the first half, that most you've ever scored in a half in your career. Did you even realize you had it going?
Oh, I felt it. Don't y'all? I felt it. 100%. I felt it for sure. The crowd had me all gassed up. So the crowd and our bench. So I felt it from both of them.
Mikal, in the closing stages of a game, it's usually Chris or Book who are doing like the spam play thing in Madden or 2K where it seems like they're wearing the same exact thing, but then you guys tweak a little something. It's been you the last 2 games. It has watching them do it made it easier for you. What do you credit to your ability to pick all of this up so fast?
Yeah, I'm just grateful to have guys like C and Book and just be able to watch them and see what they do and how to get to their spots, get to their shots. And I mean, we're all hoopers at the end of the day. You know, if one play keeps working, we're gonna keep going to it. So just be able to be in that situation and be aggressive and try to get to the spots.
They are plays that you've run a million times now at the end of the day. Does it feel different doing them at the end of a game now, or does it still kind of feel the same?
No, you just kind of know what defense they're in, so you're just kind of going off that. That's probably the biggest thing, is knowing what they're doing. And at that time, it was switching everything, so just coming off and just being aggressive because I know the big is up.
What was the key in that last 6 months? Few things that guys get shot.
Just staying together, getting stops when it mattered. They came out of third, and then the bench started off great in the fourth. They called timeout, and then they made their little run. But yeah, just getting stops, executing. That's what it comes down to win games.
Caleb, you had those back-to-back jumpers. DA had that big offensive putback. Torrey with the offensive rebound. I felt like everyone kind of contributed. Did that feel a little closer to last year as far as crunch time goes?
Oh yeah, for sure. Everybody's making plays, man. Everybody's going out there trying to win. Even somebody struggles, whatever. The whole mindset is, scoring to help us win. So just being aggressive. Everybody, all 5 of us. It's tough. We got 5 guys out there all aggressive at the same time on the offensive end. So yeah, everybody was locked in, man. I told you we got a lot of making up to do.
But Chris, it feels like he's been playing his best basketball since he's come back. I know you guys have seen this before, but does it feel like he's kind of tapped into what he's been used to seeing, I guess?
Yeah, for sure. Whenever C gets hurt, it's kind of like, good, like sit your ass down, get some rest. You know what I'm saying? He got a lot of miles on that body, so especially if it's not something super serious. So like little things like that is just like good. Like get your rest, take care of your body, and when you come back super fresh, like only thing that really be holding back is his age, honestly. And he's still, I don't even know what holding back is for him anyway. Like his holding back is somebody's best night. So it's just great to see him just coming off and feeling good. I know his body feels good, and I know how he take care of his body and stuff. So he's looking great.
Silly question when a 240-pound guy falls on you, but what did you feel when that Siakam play happened?
Oh, I got elbowed in the freaking jaw. That joint still hurts. That's why I was really on the ground. I got bowed. That's all.
Feeling good?
Yeah, I'm all right. Always all right.
What happens with second unit came in fourth quarter? Obviously, it's a big change from when you last played at home, and mine was really hard on the production for the bench. But this game seemed like the bench really stepped up in the fourth quarter after the Raptors made that run. Third.
Yeah.
So what do you say about the bench?
I mean, they just this thing about Mont, man. He always say he don't call you out, he calls you up. And our team, we're not mentally weak. Like, yeah, coach criticized you, and what are you gonna do about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just gonna fall and just kind of feel that pressure on coach, or you're gonna step up. And every single guy on his team, especially on the bench, they all work hard. So I knew they would get another opportunity. They're not gonna fail. So kudos to them guys, man. Just everybody's getting better, they getting better, and it just makes our team, gets everybody else hyped up.
Thanks again.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.